What is up? Jay here, and welcome to podcast number 3. It's been a little bit since the last one, but I'm back. If you guys got any topics that you'd like me to talk about, that you'd like me to make a podcast about, just shoot it, shoot it on Instagram, shoot it in the YouTube comments, wherever you can find me. Just let me know, and I'll make a podcast talking about it. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about the process of self-love and how to learn to love yourself. Obviously, that doesn't happen within a day or two or even a week or a month. It takes time, just like every relationship in your life does. Every relationship starts with a high. And before I even start talking about my journey or how I've learned to accept and love myself, I have a question. Have you ever sat down with yourself and genuinely asked yourself, how are you? And then also honestly answered that question. Because we tend to put on these masks and hide our true feelings. And we even hide those feelings when we're alone with ourselves. But if you want to strengthen the relationship you have with yourself and go on that journey and learn to love yourself, you have to start with the truth and be really, really honest with yourself. And the reason why I feel people are scared to do that is because when they do that and when they're really being honest with themselves, they realize that maybe, just maybe, they've been living a lie all their life. And they've been wearing a mask this entire time. And it hurts. But the worst thing that can happen when you're being honest with yourself is that the real you gets to come out. And you don't turn, but you remember who you truly are. And for most people, that might just be a really painful experience. And that's why not a lot of people do it. That's why not a lot of people like to spend time by themselves, because it makes you think. And eventually you get to the point where you have to be honest with yourself, because you can't hide behind other people and you can't distract yourself, right? So for me, that's where it all started as well. I talked about this in a previous podcast. I think in my last one, I talked a little bit about my journey with bullying and depression. So I used to hate myself pretty much because I took the words of my bullies and other people around me and I made them my own, and I believed them, right? I believed I was worthless and undeserving and unlovable, and I didn't have any friends because I'm just so different, like an alien, like a fish on Mars who doesn't belong here, which isn't true. I've realized that by now. Amazing, thank God. But I've been there and I felt that pain. So today I want to talk a little bit about how I managed to do that, to get out of there. You have to see yourself as your best friend. Now, at this point, you may not feel like you're your best friend, but it's who you definitely want to become, because you come into this world alone when you're born, and you also leave again on your own when you leave your body behind. All you ever really have is yourself, 24/7, 365 days of the year. It's you and yourself, always. Even if everybody leaves, you always have you. So it's really important to have a solid relationship with yourself if it ever comes to that point. And oftentimes it does. You'll find yourself in solitude. You'll find yourself alone, but you don't have to feel lonely if you like the person you're alone with. It starts, and this may sound really weird, but it really all starts with a hi, with a how are you, even with yourself. Just sitting down in your room by yourself and asking yourself that question and just being honest with yourself. Because to move forward and to make process and to get better, you have to be honest with where you are right now. And wherever it is that you are, it's totally okay. And you should always remember that, because we can be our own biggest critics, right? And you keep on telling yourself you should be somewhere, but you're not there yet. All of that doesn't matter. You'll get there eventually. But to get there, you have to be honest with where you're standing right now. That is so, so very important. So don't be so hard on yourself. That's number one. And look at yourself like you're meeting a whole new person, because when you sit down with yourself, you're meeting up with parts within yourself you've been at war with. And this is what I don't like about depression, is that people look at it like it's a war, or they say that they're at war with themselves. When you say you're at war with yourself, you're fighting yourself. But what depression really is your inner being telling you that it is tired of you portraying somebody that you're not. Your inner being is basically crying to come out. So you get into deep rest and you get really, really tired and stressed out with whatever it is that you're doing, because it's not in alignment with who you truly are. That's depression. And if you look at it like you have to fight something, that something is actually yourself, you'll never truly get there. You'll never truly get through. Some people think there's never an end to depression, and that is honestly not true, because I've made it. And I've made it by sitting down with myself, not running away or fighting myself. It doesn't work like that. You have to turn around, you have to open your arms and basically catch that inner child that's been traumatized at some point and take care of it. So start with a simple question of how are you, and be really, really honest with yourself. And then once you've engaged in that first honest conversation with yourself, invite yourself to something. Make yourself a tea or eat your favorite snack and really enjoy it. Put on your favorite show and just cuddle up in your bed or on your couch or wherever it is that you feel comfortable. Make yourself comfortable. Do something that you enjoy doing. Make yourself a new playlist. Whatever it is, go for a walk. You know, you can do all these things and do it just like you'd do that for a best friend. You know, if your best friend, and talking about an outside person right now, if some outside person, if one of your friends would be feeling down, you'd go to them maybe with a tub of ice cream. I don't know, you'd watch your favorite TV show. You'd go out for a walk to just get your mind off of things. You'd take care of them, right? And just like you'd take care of a friend, you have to take care like that of yourself and basically see yourself as your friend taking care of yourself. It's nurturing that inner child back to health, because like I said, at some point you got traumatized. You experienced something that was really, really negative, be it at school, be it bullying and people being assholes. To just say it how it is, they were assholes to you and they bullied you and it traumatized you and it made you sad and it broke you down somewhere. You know, it broke something within you. So you have to nurture your inner child and take it by the hand and be like, hey, it's okay. So what you're trying to do is walk the path of least resistance. If I would just tell you to stand in front of the mirror every morning and every night before you go to bed, and I would tell you to just tell yourself that you love yourself, that would be really, really hard for you. So what you want to do is stand in front of a mirror, absolutely do mirror work and talk to yourself, but speak sentences to yourself that do not trigger that much resistance inside of you. Because I understand that when you look into the mirror and you look at yourself and you tell yourself, I love myself, you're probably going to feel a lot of resistance, like it's not true, because you don't believe it at this point. But habits and beliefs, they're changeable. A belief is just a thought you continuously kept on thinking until it turned into a belief. So you told yourself this basically on a daily basis, and eventually it turned into a belief. And you can change that. So what you want to do is say something that feels lighter. Don't say I love myself, because at this point it feels like something that is still so far away. Maybe tell yourself, or start with, I'm learning to accept myself. Start with accepting, then move on to liking, and eventually you'll get to loving. But it all starts with acceptance, accepting somebody. So say to yourself in the mirror, I'm learning to accept myself. Or if that feels really, really easy, then say, I'm learning to like myself. But for some, you can already feel the resistance right there. But saying that you're learning something is telling yourself that you're making progress, which is something positive. I made a video on YouTube. It's called 5 Tips to Live a More Positive Life. And you can, of course, just check out all the content on my YouTube channel if you feel like you could benefit from it. I think you can. So maybe check it out. So I'd recommend that, because on there, like I said, like it says in the title, I give 5 tips on how to do more positive things. And basically I'm talking about making affirmation post-it notes. Write that sentence down. I'm learning to accept myself. I'm learning to like myself, or even I'm learning to love myself if it feels good to you. Write it on a post-it note and put it on a mirror, or I have my affirmation post-it notes on my closet door, just somewhere where you're gonna see them every day, because you want to change your habits, you want to change your beliefs, you want to train yourself to think more positive thoughts daily. I think we think about, I don't know, 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I remember this because I read it not too long ago. But we definitely want to, or you definitely want to work on turning more of these thoughts into positive ones and not be so hard and so down on yourself. So do that, work with positive affirmations, do the mirror work. It definitely helps. Also, meditation and learning about mindfulness and just sitting down and talking to yourself in your head is not crazy. It's a normal thing to do. I recommend it, just doing things and finding out about new things, trying new things that could have a positive impact on your life and that make you feel good about yourself. And it's just basically time you spend with yourself that is quality time, and that gives you something that adds value to your life. And then it's just really all about patience. So don't be so hard on yourself, It's not that you're just gonna sit down with yourself or stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, okay, I'm learning this and I'm doing that and whatever, and you expect to see results immediately or like in a week. It takes time. Like, I think changing habits takes at least 21 days. So have patience. Don't be so hard on yourself. That is really, really important. The greatest relationships, they take time. It takes 18 years for you to turn 18. You can't do it in 15. You have to go the full 18. The greatest relationships in your life, of course, there are always going to be people you hit it off with immediately, but the greatest, and the ones that feel like home, they take time. Because over time, you're going to really open up, and that other person is going to know everything about you, all your secrets, your insecurities, and they feel like home. What you're trying to do is come home to yourself. And I'm on that journey myself, but I just feel like I made it over certain humps, and I just want to give away what I've learned at this point because I feel like people could benefit from it. And I'm at a point in my life where I feel really confident in myself, and I believe in myself no matter what anybody says. And I've learned it through this, and it takes a lot of patience and work. You have to work on this daily, but it's not like you have to wait for yourself or a certain day to come where you have time to meet up. You're always there with yourself. So even if it's just 5 minutes a day, definitely take the time for you to work on yourself and the relationship you have with yourself. And I wish you listening all the love and all the light, and I'm sending you all that I have of it, and I wish you the best on your journey. So this is kind of a short podcast episode, shorter than the other ones, but I still hope it was helpful. If it was, give it a like. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're listening on YouTube or SoundCloud, doesn't matter. And like I said at the beginning, you can always let me know what you want me to talk about if there's anything. So thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I'm Jay, and I'll talk to you soon.